Okay, we are beginning with a gray gesso white image transfer, meaning it's going to be different than the other ones that we've done before. We're using gray gesso instead of our typical local color background. And I am using a Liquitex gray gesso. It works pretty well. It's very thin, way thinner than the golden gesso that I was using before, but it does the job. Just make sure that when you're done with your first layer, make it very nice and smooth. And as I say right here, just make sure it's completely dry before you put your second layer on. And it looked like I had already started the second layer and realized it wasn't filming, so I'm just going to finish it up here. We're using a white transfer paper this time instead of the regular graphite transfer paper. And this is going to help us see what we're doing, because when you're working with a gray gesso, it's a lot darker than the normal local color skin tone that we were working with in the past. So this white transfer paper is going to allow us to see what we need to see. And I'm checking with my fingernail a scratch test just to make sure that I have it on the right side. Another reason why this is so important, and the main reason why I'm using white transfer paper, is I didn't want to outline all the wrinkles with something that was super dark. I don't want it to look like there's a whole bunch of like fake lines on our face. I want it to look like natural skin wrinkles, and if we're making them too dark, then it's just going to look very unnatural, and I think it's a little bit tricky to do wrinkles because you're kind of assuming that it's just one straight line when it's not. It's two like layers of skin or two parts of skin that are coming together, and there is a line, but we're seeing it as a shadow, not as like an absence of like anything. So by using the white to draw out our wrinkles, it eliminates that fear of me going too dark with my wrinkles. And I'm still going to go over those with the dark line in the beginning, and later we'll soften them out with transparent layers of color. But I just thought, why not take the extra step to make this as natural looking as possible by using a white transfer instead of a dark. I chose to do it this way because I chose the gray gesso and the white transfer paper. I had such a hard time with the last portrait, and this was doing a grisaille, which is black and white instead of like a local color like the way we have been doing. Doing a grisaille in grayscale is something that I'm pretty familiar with, and I felt like since that was something that I used to do a lot, that it would probably be really good for beginners as well. So you can kind of look at both and see which one is right for you. If you're someone that kind of struggles with seeing color in value from light to dark, then this should be pretty easy, because I think we're pretty used to seeing grayscale. Like when we're printing something out in black and white photos, we have a very strong like recollection of how grayscale looks as opposed to color value. So this might be something that is easier for you to do first. Just do the whole painting in black, white, and gray, tints, tones, and shades, and only focus on your highlights, your midtones, your shadows, and later on we'll detail it as we go. I think that it is it'll make the job a little bit easier, but anyhow. So right now I'm just going through and I'm putting all information in. I'm not letting one line slip behind. Yeah, so another thing you're noticing is not only am I putting the wrinkles in, but I'm also shaping out where the highlights and the midtones and the shadows are. Those are really the most important part, because that's what we're going to be using to build our structure of her face first, is including her sweater. So anything that you see, something complicated like this, I like to put all information as possible as I can. It just helps me out later when having to paint something that has a lot of detail or is a little bit more complicated. Although there are some people that get a little bogged down with too much information, and if you are one of those people, what I would suggest is try to only focus on doing the first layer, the black and the white, only focusing on structure. So where the highlights that you see on her left side of her face are, we're looking at it, yeah, her left, our right is in highlight, and then the other side is shaded in shadow. So if you're only focusing on laying in those values first and blocking them in, that might be the way that you go instead of having to do all of these wrinkle lines. Maybe that's something that you decide to do later. And we sealed it exactly like the other portraits that we did with a... Sorry, did you hear that? We sealed it with a layer of spray fixative. Okay, I will see you in the next video.